do with power? Power is a word that is different. It can mean many different things, like, well, abilities, such or responsibility, or another, a unique burden that's carried upon your shoulders. If you have the power to do something, you should do it, right? That's what should happen. Power is something that you use for the good, not for the bad. But yet, humanity does the opposite. They do both, good and bad, a yin and yang, a concept of both. And yet, other things say otherwise. Izuku wasn't sure. This was too difficult for him to process. Power, abilities. He wanted power. He wanted a quirk so bad. He sighed. It was... What time is it? Oh, 6:30. You can close his eyes again. Maybe get a few winks of sleep again. He sighed. No, he couldn't. He got up, sighing, stretching out his body, looking in the mirror at his thin, scrawny body. He was weak, pathetic. He picked up his glasses, looking at them. He didn't need glasses, but sometimes when he looks in the mirror, he can't tell. He proceeded to put them back down as walking and taking a shower, proceeding to get dressed. He sighed. This was his life. 10 years ago, his fate was sealed. He remembered vividly, very clear. Flashback. A 4-year-old Izuku proceeded to arrive at the quirk doctor. This was a moment that would change his life, where he would learn about his quirk, the very thing that would define who he is. He was happy. This was new. This was going to be amazing. Like his sister and Kachan, he was going to be a hero. A powerful one at that. The three of them were going to be the best heroes ever. And nobody was going to stop them. Not a villain, nobody. They were going to save people with a smile on their face, just like All Might. And then it came crashing down. The doctor proceeded to speak. The words cold and with no life, no care. I'm sorry, but your son's quirkless. Inga proceeded to look surprised. Quirkless? But how? My daughter, I came here last year with her. She developed her quirk. Yes, but it seems like your son has skipped a generation of the quirk, and seemingly the quirk skipped him entirely. There's evidence pointing towards supporting your son's quirklessness. This pinky joint, this double joint pinky within his toe, he proceeded to lay on other evidence. The more evidence that Shizuku heard, the more that it broke him. And the more that he realized that he was now stuck. It's like in a predicament where he can't get power. He proceeded to look. Now home. It's been a while, a few hours since the quirk doctor. His mother tried talking to him. He asked her if he could become a hero. Her response was, I'm sorry. I'm sorry? Was that it? Was that all? His mother, who he thought loved him more than anything in the world, couldn't even tell him that he could be the hero that he wanted to be, the hero that he needed to be. He closed his eyes, hoping, praying this was a dream. This is a dream, this is a dream, this is a dream. But he opened his eyes, seeing that it wasn't a dream. This was reality. His father stepped into his room with his sister. She proceeded to look worried, with a worried look. His face was blank. Emotion was still there, but it was dimmed, dying. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Sashi proceeded to tell his daughter to give him some time with Izuku so he can talk to him. Sasuke proceeded to sit down the boy to talk. Now knowing of, well, his quirklessness. Dad, the boy proceeded to look at his father. Can I become a hero? Looking at his father, who was similar to him, but with black, messy hair instead. His father proceeded to sigh, rubbing his own messy curls, sighing as he proceeded to say, well, I don't think you can, son. Izuku proceeded to look down, his tears coming down slowly. His father said he couldn't. The very man who raised him, the man that he looked up to, even more than All Might, said he couldn't. If he couldn't, then I guess he really couldn't. But his father immediately proceeded to speak. But that doesn't mean you can't try. The boy looked at his father with hope. It might be hard. It might be difficult. You might even struggle to get up to the top. But Izuku, you have to understand that power isn't everything. Power is just the branch, the tool that you need. It's just the gadget. You need to become the hero that you want to be, the man that you need to be. Power is nothing without the right heart. The boy looked at his father, confused. Look, son, if you have the power to do something right, do you understand me? The boy looked at his father, nodding. If you have the power to do something right, then you should do it. Just because someone else might have power doesn't mean they're in the right. If you have the power to do something right, then you should do it. No questions asked. If you know deep down in your heart that if it's right, and you know it's right, then you should do it. You shouldn't allow somebody else to suffer, nor you should allow them to get hurt or die. I'm putting this lesson into you young because I want you to understand that power isn't everything. Sasuke looked at his son. We're ruled by a world of superpowers, yes. They might be the very thing that builds who you are, but you don't allow that to change. If you allow that, then you'll never truly become the man you need to be. Izuku, the man you need to be is someone who's kind-hearted, open to suggestions, and open to change. Someone who guides people, who saves them, with or without a smile, that tells them that they're here. They can be the branch that supports them. Just because you might have the most rawest power of all doesn't mean that makes you the strongest. The strongest is the ones who truly carry the others. Carry them not because they're the strongest, but because they care about them. That's real power, son. And always remember this, with great power comes great responsibility. The boy looked at his father. He didn't understand the message, but a part of him got it. With great power comes great responsibility. Those words fit so well with him. They were like some sort of motto. Flashback end. Great power comes great responsibility. The boy proceeded to close his mirror, proceeding to button up his school uniform, getting it right. Doesn't mean people might have the power, but they don't be responsible with it. He scowled, glaring at the mirror. That means nothing in this world. Great power, great responsibility. That's hilarious. The boy proceeded to put on his glasses, looking at him. He knew he didn't need them, but part of him felt like without him, he couldn't be anything. He proceeded to exit his room, proceeding to see his sister. She smiled at him. You ready? The boy simply sighed. Yeah, I'm ready, stretching out his body. So, you got the paper signed? The boy smiled. You mean the paper? She said, a little bit annoyed. the paper. She sighed as simply scowling. I can't believe you. She proceeded to walk downstairs, his Izuku following her. I saw she proceeded to see these two children smiling. Hey, how are my kids doing? Izuku proceeded to smile. We're doing fine. She proceeded to hug her father, Izuku giving him a pat on the shoulder. All right, we're off, the boy said. Hey, little man, as Sashi said, turning. Remember, in a few days, we're going to repaint the house. Izuku proceeded to look at his father questionably. Really? You sure about that one? Yep. Okay, I guess so, Izuku said. Come on, Izumi, we got to hurry. We don't want to keep Kachan waiting. Yeah, you're right, Ashi simply says. All right, Mom, we're off. Inka proceeded to say, but your breakfast. Izuku proceeded to grab 2 bacon strips. Flipping the other one to Izumi, she proceeded to grab with her telekinesis. Izuku simply smiling. Don't worry, it's all we need. All right, as Izuku says, but you should be careful. Yeah, we're always careful, Izuku says, opening the door. See ya. They proceeded to close the door, leaving. Baka stood right outside, waiting. It was about time, as he simply said, seeing the two. Izumi proceeded to smile. As she said, well, are we gonna go now? Baka simply nodded. Izuku simply said, well, for it, we must check if we have the glorious paper. He proceeded to pull out a paper with permission slip on it. You have it, Kachan? Baka simply scowled. Yes, nerd, I have it. I don't believe you, Izuku said. Bago pulled out a slip of paper also, showing the same one. You do have it, Izuku smiled. Perfect. Today's the day, guys. We're going to see the great Dr. Curtis Connors. Izuku smiling with glee on his face. Izumi sighed. Remind me why we're doing this? Because we should? We don't really have to. It's not really optional. Optional or not, I'm going. I want you guys to come with me. I don't know why I said yes in the first place. So you're going to leave your quirkless little brother alone with all the big bad students. Wow, I'm hurt, Izuku said, walking. That's not what I mean, Izumi said, going after her brother. Baga seemed to follow with a leisurely pace. Yeah. Izumi, you still going to UA? Of course I am, she simply smiled. You are too, right? Of course, smiling. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, it must be nice, Izuku simply thought. They had the chance to go to UA, the greatest hero school in the country. Me? Oh no, I can't do that. Izuku proceeded to walk as it was quiet. He proceeded to look at the paper, the slip. Dr. Connors. They got this a week ago when he learned that the school was going to take a field trip to Dr. Connors' lab. Dr. Connors was a scientist, the best genetically altered scientist around. Izuku smiled. Ever since his diagnosis as quirkless, he's been focusing more on science, putting that into his heart. But he still loved heroes, no doubt, just as much as he loved science. You know, as much as I agree with this, I find your love for science is just as terrifying as your love for heroes. Why is that, as Izuku says? You're obsessed with science. That's a good thing. But you're also obsessed with being a hero. It doesn't hurt to try. Bako scowled. Oh yeah, it will hurt to try. Bako proceeded to be looking at Izuku. Look, Deku, you don't have a power. I don't know why you're still trying. I have to. I can't just give up, can I? You know what they say. If you don't run, if you want to learn to walk, you gotta run. As Izuku said, smiling. That's It's true, but that's not well. I can finish your sentence for her. That's not what we mean. And definitely we don't use that for something as big as, well, UA's entry exam. Well, yeah, that's happening in what? 1, 2. A year and a half? Almost a year and a half? Well, when you put it like that, yeah. Almost 2 years, so we have enough time. And I say, I want to try. You know Mom's not going to let you join. Zuka smirked. Whoever said I was going to tell Mom? She proceeded to blink. You're not going to tell Mom? No. Zuka said, turning towards his sister. And I want you to promise you won't tell her. That's insane, Zuka said. You have to tell her. I'm not telling her. She's too much of a worry hound. Worry hound or not, she's our mom. Izumi said, scowling. Yeah, I know, but she treats me like I'm a fragile cannon. She treats me the same way. You might say the same, but it's totally different. With you, she can at least be confident. Me, on the other hand, I'm like a glass. One small wrong touch, I'll shatter. I'm not that fragile. Baka proceeded to touch his shoulder. Ow, Zuka said. What was that for? You see? Fragile. Zuka scowled. That's not my point. Well, that's the whole point, Baka says. You're quirkless. I know, Zuka says. Doesn't mean I can't try. The two simply sighed, understanding that they weren't going to get anywhere. It's been, 10 years? And the 14-year-old still doesn't want to get through his head. Even though he was a year younger than them, he had another year and a half to get in. They had 10 months. So enough time for them to get in. Izuku scowled. Look, I understand you're all worried. But if I don't do this, if I don't try, how am I supposed to live with myself? And anyways, if more not, I'm sure I'll get in. Smiling. But we're at school and there's the bus. So let's go and see Dr. Connors. The boy started running. Izumi proceeded to look at Koski. He's too excited, even for my liking. Yeah, he's like a juiced up All Might, but scrawnier and skinnier and fragile. That sounds hilarious. All Might's not scrawny and skinny, as Izumi spoke. I know. They're like the exact same, but physically the polar opposite. The irony. As they proceeded to give the slips to them, as they proceeded to make their way to the great Dr. Connors, they arrived at his lab. It was ESU. This was recently built. Dr. Connors recently moved to Japan, not a few years ago, starting his research here in Japan. His main lab was in New York, but now it's here. And they're able to see his greatness and all of his work right in front. Izuku was examining everything, taking pictures of everything on his phone. Why are you taking pictures, Izumi says? I have to remember this. Duh, Izuku says. This is important. This is... Izuku says, I'm trying to work on the words. History. Like, this is groundbreaking. If Dr. Connors can successfully get his work to success, he can revolutionize everything we know about quirks. You know he's a forensic scientist, right? Not a quirk scientist. I know that, but it's like he works on mutations and He works on mutations mostly, in genetic mutations. Just like imagine if he can master the ability of regrowing limbs, he can heal almost every veteran that ever have lost a limb, Izuku says. Wouldn't that be crazy? That would be great, right? You have to believe me. You can't say I'm wrong. Izuku agree. I admit it, if he does somehow get his work to work out, he will become a lot more famous. Yeah, as he simply said, understandable. But it's kind of, hard. That doesn't matter, Izuku says. All that matters is that we're here in his laboratory. This is amazing, Izuku said. You may not understand it like I do, but I understand what's at stake here. The future. As they proceeded to be guided towards, a secretary will proceed to speak out upon everything around him. The newest, latest research. This was great. Everything was great. And they arrived at their enhanced creatures. Genetically enhanced lizards, toads, frogs, cockroaches, and spiders. Izuku took a picture of almost everything. She proceeded to speak about the enhanced creatures, especially about the spiders, and how they are one of their greatest creations. Huh, really? I didn't notice. Izuku proceeded to blink. This was all so new, all so different. He proceeded to blink. This was vastly different. He stopped, turning towards his sister. This is amazing. Yeah, amazing as a possibility with one of them missing. What do you mean? Oh, I guess so. Once Jim proceeded to point out that one of the spiders were missing, she simply said it's probably being tested. And then the man himself, Dr. Connors, came out. Connors proceeded to come out as smiling. Hello, I am Dr. Connors. And as you know, I am a forensic scientist. I do work on genetic splicing, mostly on animals. Anyone want to know how this works? The class was quiet, as simply they all go, well, my dream has been one goal, to make humanity as great as possible, where we don't have to worry about many things. There's one thing, even though we might have grown exceptionally, and with quirks at the rise, a lot of things have been pushed back for quirks. I want to push those things back forward, so humanity understands that even though we all might have powers and new sets of abilities, we're still the same. Deep down, you and I. That's why I think my work will revolutionize everything that we know, even about quirks. They proceeded to blink, they proceeded to look. One student proceeded to raise their hand. Mr. Connors, Dr. Connors, sir, about your genetic enhanced creatures, how did you do that? Dr. Connors proceeded to smile, finding a student that was finally interested in his work. Well, that was simple. We took many splicings of DNAs of creatures. And added them with quirks, multiple quirks, quirk factors, and quirk from people who volunteered to give their blood. And we used their blood, allowing the quirk factor and adding it to the species that fitted the most. Like the spiders here. These spiders all have a specific quirk factor that helps them. The long jumping spider here can jump at least up to 30 meters high. And a maximum jump is about 50 meters. One proceeded to blink. That's pretty high. Yes, it is. And with enhancing them with the quirk factor, they can jump at least over 100 meters. 100 meters, Izuku thought. That's amazing. One proceeded to raise his hand. So, question, if these enhanced creatures are enhanced, are they enhanced by anything else? Yes. Before this, they were already enhanced by an old friend of mine, Richard Parker. These enhanced were already enhanced to the max. Highest potential, already having above unique abilities and powers. But when we added those quirk factors, it became unstable. We had to redo the formula, but we finally made a cohesive species and crossbreed genetics. And then we succeeded. Boom. The enhanced creatures. One raised their hand. So if these enhanced species, is there like a virus in them? Yes, that's more likely. That's how we do it actually. We implant the quirk virus, just with the quirk factor within it, to spread with the creature's altered DNA. It's already been enhanced to the maximum. It bonds with it, creating something new, brand new, unique. So another saber student raised his hand. So if that virus gets into a person, can it give them a quirk? Dr. Connors proceeded to look seriously about this. He proceeded to really think about the question. No, I'm afraid not. Even if they enhance, the balance would be improper. It would be unstable. Likelihood of factoring that would probably happen would be you would change into some sort of mutated creature with the traits, with the very factors of the virus, its traits. Bago simply whispered, so if he infects himself with lizard DNA, he'll become a giant lizard, mutated lizard. Hilarious. Azuka proceeded to elbow Koski's shoulder. Cut it out, man, Azuka said. One student actually raised their hand. So, if these are genetically enhanced, is it possible for you to one day be able to enhance them further beyond? Maybe even giving quirkless people abilities? My work is not meant to give people powers or quirks. It's meant to help them. One student raised their hand, that's another. So your latest work in lizard DNA, if you can enhance the creature's already physical traits and enhance them to the maximum with your enhancement protocol, does that mean with merge with the quirk virus, can you somehow transfer that to a human? That would just specifically be able to allow them to regenerate their limb. Yes, that's exactly what my work's meant to be doing. One student that had read Dr. Karn's work will say, but wouldn't the foreign species take over and cause problems? True. That's why we have protocols. And that's why living subjects like humans have not been done. We have come upon a stump. As simply Koski said, so he's trying to make giant lizards. I knew it, Bakugo said. Izumi simply chuckling. Relax. He's not trying to make giant lizards. If anything, he's just trying to revolutionize people getting their limbs back. Limbs or not, Bakugo says. If he changes it to a giant lizard, I wouldn't be surprised. I just said jokingly. Izumi and Bakugo proceeded to joke around. Izuku proceeded to take pictures. Unknown to him, A dangling spider that seemed to be abnormally bigger than all the others proceeded to go down towards his hand. It crawled. Its patterns were red and blue in design. It proceeded to crawl up on his hand, a light writhing right there, right where one of his veins were. Zuko proceeded to look at the spider. Oh, hey, little guy. How are you? Ooh, you're a fascinating one. Proceeded to look at the spider. The spider proceeded to, from Zuko's movements, proceeded to jolt in fear, biting him, as it proceeded to send its venom into his bloodstream. Izuku proceeded to feel a prick. Ah, fuck! He proceeded to spaz his hands for a few seconds. The spider is still latching on tightly. It proceeded to pump his venom continuously. As it pumped all of his venom into his bloodstream, it proceeded to find it detached from his hand. It spasmed and moved for a moment as it tried to crawl away, seemingly crawling away slowly as its spasming continued to go. Izuku saw the spider disappear, barely moving after going underneath the container. Ah, that hurt, the boy said, rubbing his hand, the back of his hand, looking at the bite mark that was clearly now aggravated and pulsing red. Oh. Okay. The boy started to slightly, at least, sway side from side. Izumi proceeded to look at Izuku as proceeding to look at him questionably. Izuku, are you alright? She was saying his full name instead of his nickname, worried about him. Yeah, I'm fine. Bakugo looked. Nerd, you good? You look pale. Really, really pale. Yeah, I'm fine. Izuku had to take a step back, but instead almost fell backwards. Izumi catching him with her cord. Izuku, you don't look so good. You don't say, Bakugo says. He looks pale as a ghost. I need a restroom, Izuku said. He proceeded to head towards the restroom, simply eating to go. The boy proceeded to head to the restroom. Heading to the restroom, he proceeded to look at himself in the mirror. He saw his pale face and the bloodshot red eyes. Oh, goody, this is what he needs. The boy proceeded to belch. Oh, no. He proceeded to vomit, vomiting everything out of his stomach. Oh, great. Just what I need. He proceeded to belch one more time, vomiting. God, what's going on with me? The boy was woozy, lightheaded. He proceeded to make his way back to the class, everything seeming like a blur. The trip was over. Everything went by so fast. The day was over. He was walking with Izumi, who was holding him, wondering if he was okay. She proceeded to ask if he was alright, but he said yeah, he was fine. Totally. I'm fine, don't worry. You don't have to worry about me. I'm gonna go to my room. They entered their house as opening the door. Inko proceeded to see the two. Izuku, how are you? She immediately stopped and seen her son. Izuku, she immediately proceeded both towards the boy. Are you alright? Take to the doctor right now. No, I'm fine. Izuku said, I'm alright. I think I just caught a stomach bug. Satoshi proceeded to look at his son, looking at him, wondering, you sure that's a stomach bug? Because you look a lot more paler than usual. I'm fine. He started making his way towards his room, stumbling. I just need a rest. I'll be upstairs. Sleeping. Call me if you Need anything. The boy enters the room, locking his door. As the mechanism proceeds to lock the door. As he proceeds to stumble onto his bed, he proceeds to remove of his school uniform top as proceeding to drop, his scrawny body looking more pale than usual. It made him look like a zombie. He proceeded to collapse to the ground, shivering, quivering, his heart beating faster than before. What's happening to me? His vision was blurring. He was backing out back and forth. He grabbed his blanket and his pillow, his all-night blanket and pillow, wrapping it around his body. Am I dying? I didn't even get to try. The boy fell to unconsciousness finally. Unknown to the boy, his body was drastically changing due to the abnormal virus within his system, changing his DNA from, human to spider. The blood vessels were merging with his DNA in a red-blue color scheme, changing his very being. Few hours gone by. The boy was asleep. To his knowledge, he opened his eyes, stretching. He yawned. He proceeded to stretch his body, feeling a lot more well-rested. He got up slowly. He felt a little bit better. He looked at the clock, seeing it was 5:57 in the morning. His eyes widened, seeing this. 5:57 in the morning? He slept through the whole day yesterday. What the hell? He panicked, wondering what was going on. Why did he sleep through the whole day? And why did his mom and dad not wake him up? Norizumi, what the hell is going on? The boy proceeded to blink. Okay. The Duke proceeded to look around. The dark room, seeming a lot brighter. It looked normal, like it had sunlight coming through, but the sun was barely coming up. He looked around, seeing that all his lights were off, and his vision was so much better. He could see every particle. He looked at the wood, seeing every grime, every line upon the wood, seeing closely everything. He saw the particles in the air, the dust. Everything was so much more enhanced. What was going on? He proceeded to wonder, hearing sounds from outside and down several blocks, almost a mile. He held his head, wondering what was going on with him. His senses was on high alert, they're on blast. He proceeded to head towards the bathroom. He proceeded to enter the bathroom. As he turned on the light, he proceeded to gasp at the light, how it was so goddamn bright. Ah, fuck, Zucker proceeded to whisper. Why is it so damn bright? His eyes immediately adjusting to the light. He proceeded to look, and what he saw in the mirror shocked him. The boy blinked. No way. Who is that? He moved, but what followed him was not him. No, it was him. He had his face. He didn't look so pale. He didn't look so scrawny. He looked more full. He looked down at his body. He had a muscular body. Nothing like All Might's. Nothing like All Might, but muscular. He had a body of a swimmer. An Olympic Greek god swimmer. His muscles were chiseled to the bone. Every little detail upon his muscles, upon his chest, upon his stomach. And he had abs. He had a 6-pack? Or was that an 8-pack? He proceeded to flex his muscles. He had a 6-pack, not flexing his stomach. He had a 6-pack, but then he looked closer. He had an 8-pack. An 8-pack? What the hell? The boy thought. This is strange. This was all so new. And did he look taller? It's like he grew overnight. He looked like he was at least 6 foot. Oh my goodness. Azuka smiled, seeing this. I like this, Azuka simply thought. This is new. New change. So much more new. Azuka reached for his brush to brush his teeth, grabbing the brush and toothpaste. He proceeded to open the paste, and as he proceeded to go squeeze, everything in the toothpaste proceeded to splat out upon, well, the mirror. Azuka blinked. What was that? He looked at his hands, confused. Okay, that's weird. He used the toothpaste, taking some of the toothpaste off the mirror as he proceeded to brush his teeth, wondering, okay, that's not weird. That never happened before, but that's all right. The boy simply sighed. He spat out the toothpaste, proceeding to trying to put down the toothpaste and the toothbrush, but then he still felt something on his hand. Looking down to see they were still connected to his hand. What the hell? Azuka thought. He proceeded to fling the toothbrush and toothpaste upon his hands. What's going on? He wondered what was going on. He proceeded to try to remove the toothpaste face first with his other hand, but as he touched the toothpaste, his hand stuck to the toothpaste. Now that his hand stuck to the toothpaste, he was in a weird predicament. He tried to remove his hand, but he felt tension in his hand. A tingling sensation that was strong, firm grip. It was like a grip from All Might himself. He proceeded to blink. What the hell? Or how he imagined a grip from All Might. He proceeded to pull gently. Come on, let go! He finally got his hand to stick with a pop sound. He proceeded to fling around, his body going off balance. He proceeded to center himself quickly and really easily. He looked at the toothbrush that was falling in slow motion. He picked it up by the tips of his fingernails. Quickly. It looked so slow when it was falling. What the hell? The boy was wondering what was going on with him. He easily flipped it over and putting it back in the drawer where it was, looking at the toothpaste. This is really weird. He proceeded to wonder, looking at his hands, then looking back at the toothpaste. He gently grabbed it with his fingertips, grabbing the toothpaste and tried to remove it. Nothing. He struggled for a moment, okay? He finally got it to removing it, as then, no luck. Now the toothpaste stuck to his fingertips. Great. He sighed. What was going on with me now? He just needed to fling around his arm for a moment. He proceeded to try to focus. Come on, move. And then a weird tingling sensation popped, and the toothpaste fell to the ground. He blinked. What was that? What was that feeling? He grabbed the toothpaste, seeing it would stick. Nothing. It didn't stick. You see it put the toothpaste away, looking at his hands closely. As he looked closely, as his vision proceeded to zoom in closely to his hands, he saw tiny microscopic hairs starting to pop out of his skin. As the hairs pulled out with a tingling sensation, they were microscopic. He looked at the wall. He decided to do something interesting. Touched the wall, trying to remove his hand. There it was. It was sticking to them. It was sticking to the wall. He wondered, what the hell is going on? Clearly that whatever this was going on, his hand was sticking. He focused on the tingling sensation again. Okay. Tingle, tingle, tingle. Tingle, release. And the tingling came back. But this time he released his hand. Okay. This is new. He put his hand on the door and closed it. He turned around to see his sister right in front of him. She looked at him shocked, looking at him up and down. Her face red and saying, Izuku? She proceeded to wonder. Izuku proceeded to blink. Hey? She proceeded to look. She was confused, shocked. His father proceeded to pop out the room finally. Seeing him look groggy, seeing him rub his eyes. His mother following along. They immediately started seeing the boy in front of them. That's why she proceeded to blink once and twice. Izuku, as he simply wondered. His voice confused for a moment. Looking at his son, seeing him ripped. He smiled. I didn't know you were working out. Yeah, I was working out for a while. I just didn't say anything about it. Inko was confused. She was confused. She didn't know Izuku was so ripped. This was new. I'll go to the other bathroom, she simply said quietly, walking to the other bathroom in the house. Well, Izuku says, I'm gonna head to my room. And Sasha smiled. All right, Squirt. Just don't let that growth spurt get to your head. Seeing as he was around the same height as his father, maybe a little bit taller, Izuku smiled. Big changes, big changes. He just makes his way to his room at a measly jog. He got to his room, proceeding to close the door, locking it. He tried to remove his hand, and then again it was stuck to the door. God damn it. He proceeded to struggle for a moment. 1, 2, right, tingling position. Okay. Just gotta get used to this new, whatever this was.